and then AP Econ or AP Comparative Government. So that is one thing that they could do earlier. Like English, our English Language Arts is AP English Language junior year, and then AP English Lit senior year. So, and then sciences, we have AP Physics, we have AP Chemistry, we have AP Bio, AP Human Anatomy. So we have a lot of choices, and some things are tied to year, and some things are just when you're ready to take that class. And then what was your second question?
The second question is there any alternatives to English, like a humanities or honors English?
Mm-hmm. So we don't necessarily have a humanities, but we have like pre-AP classes. So pre-AP is basically honors for us, and those pre-AP classes obviously lead into AP. So as a freshman, students could take pre-AP English 9, they could take pre-AP Geometry. So a lot of our classes that are just standard classes, we have pre-AP options for, and then again, kind of attached to, you know, the older you get, we have the AP versions of things. Yeah.
Math sequence, geometry, algebra 2, pre-calc, calc.
Yeah, that's, I mean, students could do geometry, algebra 2, pre-calc, stats, but we have a calc, and we also have a calc BC, which is the second year program. We run that between River every other year, just because we don't have enough kids to run separate programs. So kids could do calc BC stats if they wanted to. If they don't care about stats, they don't have to do stats. But there's options once they get to the higher level math. Yeah. No, so some schools and school districts will have things on a 5-point scale. We only do things on a 4-point scale. We don't do that. It looks better, I guess you could say, to take an honors, a pre-AP class or an AP class, especially if you're planning on going to university, just because when universities are looking at your transcript, they know what AP is. Same thing with IB at River. AP is a national and an international program. Same with IB. IB is nationally known and internationally known. So they'll recognize that and say, hey, well, you took AP US History, well, that is a university level class. So is it worth more in credits? No, but it is worth something. All right, go to the next slide. Okay, so this is something that we present to our 8th graders when we come down to middle school. Just a little bit about homework and studying. It's something that you have to do when you get to high school. It's like some of them kind of freak out a little bit, especially with the part in red down at the bottom, that sometimes you have to do approximately 30 to 45 minutes per class of homework and studying. That's not, I mean, it depends on the class. A lot of our teachers try and have students fulfill their homework and everything in class, so they could say, okay, well, you need to do these problems. You could finish that in class. Sometimes you don't, and then it becomes homework. Some teachers say, this is homework. You do it at home. So it just kind of depends. We usually just put this on there just so students know the reality is if you want to be successful, sometimes you have to do work outside of school. Sometimes if you don't have homework, you should make yourself homework. It's a weird kind of concept. Like for math, a lot of our math teachers use interactive notebooks. So they take notes in the notebook. There's a review part of that. Maybe you should actually review, and that's something that you could do at home. Sometimes our classes use Cornell notes. Again, there's a review portion on there. If you're not doing that in class, do it at home. That will help you to study and be successful on your tests. I mentioned to the last group that our math classes, most of them are 80% of your grade is based on assessments. So tests and quizzes, and 20% is classwork and homework. So if you're not studying, you're not going to do well on the tests. And it is high state testing because that's what you have to do for our state tests. So make sure they're ready to study and do some homework at home. Okay, so for freshman forecasting, again, this is something we just took from our other presentation. They have to do 6 credits, so that's 6 class periods. All classes that are full year are 1 credit except where indicated, so our math classes are obviously a full year. Our art classes are pretty much a full year. You could stop an art class mid-year, like if you took calligraphy. You could do first semester of calligraphy, and second semester you could be in a PE class. As mentioned, it's best to kind of do a full year of the same art, so we don't necessarily recommend that, but some students do take a semester here, a semester there. The hard thing about art is a lot of times kids think, oh, well, I can just jump into art at second semester. All of our art classes are year-long classes, so you can't jump in at semester because you would have missed all of the basics, all of the foundational information. So we just, again, when we're doing forecasting, we say, pay attention to the classes that you're picking, know what you're getting into. We also ask that students pick all their classes and then pick 3 alternates. So if a student says, hey, I want to take photography as a freshman, well, everyone wants to take photography. Photography is a fun class. You get to walk around the school and take pictures of things and talk to your friends and sometimes pretend that you're working when you're not. So it might not be possible for freshmen to take photography because there's just too many people who want to take it. So if you sign up for photography, do an alternate. If you don't choose an alternate, we'll choose one for you and you'll be stuck in it. So we give you that ability to make choices for yourself. So we say, students, give yourself the option so that we don't have to choose things for you. Okay, questions. Any burning questions? Yeah.
You were talking about the AP classes. Do they have to have anything from their counselors here to go into those, or can they self-enroll? And is there any guidelines?
Not necessarily. For English and math, we do something called vertical teaming. So we do meet with every middle school and say, what do you recommend for placement for English and math? Again, if a student's recommended for standard English and standard math, and you as a family say, we want to go for the pre-AP options, we would happily be able to do that. So it's just those recommendations specifically for English and math are based on how they've done in middle school in their classes, if they've taken maybe some honors or advanced classes in middle school, and state tests. So based on that, we can recommend. Sometimes we have students who we say, hey, maybe you should try pre-AP English 9, and kids are like, no, I do not want to try pre-AP English 9. So again, they have the option to say, maybe I want to just start with the standard English.
Just one other. We also look at math scores, and so the math window actually opens next week, and it's the most recent assessment data to look at. So you might encourage your kids to do well on the maps in this next month, because some kids don't take that real serious, and when we're looking at placement, that's the most recent common assessment data.
And sometimes we look at that and say, well, they're in this advanced class, but why did they do so poorly on maps? Maybe we should just recommend them for a standard class. So that does affect how we place them. Could they still go into the pre-AP? Possibly. So it just depends. Yeah.
Will the students be getting some sort of a list of classes that are available to build schedules before they meet with their counselors in middle school or wherever?
So, yeah.
And then we'll answer more questions. So those dates we gave you, Alki, it's March 13th, and here it's March 17th. Talk to your kid that night. They will bring home a curriculum guide. They will bring home a forecasting sheet. Review that with them. I would also recommend that you play around with the 4-year plan. Have them look ahead to that and look through the curriculum guide. And then if you have questions, you'll see what they were recommended for, which math, which English. So the March 13th and the March 17th is when all that information will be coming home. And there is a shopping list, okay? And so have those conversations with your kids. We really encourage that. And with us, with the high school people.
So we'll have one evening to have that conversation?
No, and then on the during the student-led conferences then, that's when at Thomas Jefferson they will input the information. At Alki, they're doing it the same day, but they will confirm on the student-led conference dates. Okay, so they're here on the 17th, you have till the 20th, 21st. Okay, you can always make changes, but that's the first initial big push. Okay. Do you have that last slide?
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to talk technology, and I do not have internet, Wi-Fi, or a TV at my house, so this is going to be interesting. But we had started, this is just kind of how we did tonight. You can stay here and do this on your cell phone. You can text in the 22333, And then, was it helpful, was it not at all? There's a range there. And then you would text in the message, the 189, what was most helpful, what wasn't. And then question 3. If you don't want to sit in here and do it, on that table are little yellow sheets with the instructions that you may take with you, okay? But this is our second year, and we want to keep getting better and better at doing this, so your input is very helpful. And if you have further questions, we'll be hanging out. Okay. Thanks for taking the time tonight.